Alright, purifying and purity. Well, it's where you find yourself, really, essentially, your true self, your own self, that kind of one. And so this is the advanced portion of the previous protocol, which I showed you, the binding sweep, which is great for collecting all the fiber and all the gunk and binding and expanding and cleaning out the intestines, which that's, well, the best way to get to a six-pack, by clearing out the gunk that's preventing it from showing through. So as we know, I'm a fan of vitality herbs and clay, and this one is called Purify. It has that many different herbs in perfect combination, so I'll have to put it on a list so you can have a look. But so we're looking at barberry root, androgryphitis, it's a new one for me, black walnut leaf, buckthorn, hyssop, oregano, wormwood, cat's claw, turmeric, blue-green algae, all sorts of things. Clove, ginger, licorice, just an amazing combination for removing parasites. So we don't like them, but they're a natural part of everything, every natural creature. So if you think you don't have them, guess what's controlling your mind to say and think that? Yes, nematodes, helminths, parasites. And have you reacted already? Guess what's doing it? Feel free to identify the area in the body, and you can muscle test as well to find out the particular species. So what I've been doing is, and remembering this is an advanced move, I've been detoxing for about 10 years now, and if you haven't done some significant detoxing, including clearing out your intestines, ideally on a regular basis, this is not for you. Okay, you've got more work to do to get to that stage, because it can cause significant problems by releasing these things. Lots. You didn't realize. It's so in terms, it's easier to understand if we go to spirituality and religion. So everything you understand from the devil, the demons, the dark side, the shadow, all these things are caused by all the things that feed the parasites in the body. Heavy metals, darkness, mostly time Western medication, mold, fungus, lichen, these things that are not, well, they are there, so we have to deal with them and to clean them up. And so if you've got leaky gut or Crohn's disease, or if you're obese or you don't have some sort of muscle tone, then this is not for you. You've got more work to do. Go for a walk, go for a run. Do the simple things. You have to master the basics before you get to the advanced protocols. I don't usually do serious, or sometimes. So this one is like, was it 4 to 8 capsules 2 times a day. So I've got some I take with me. So again, anytime that I'm in between meals or not putting stuff in my beautiful gob, then I'll have a go at it. And what I'm also doing, because I've done those for a little while, is morning and evening Mebex, which is essentially menbendazole, which is the active ingredient in Combantrin. And so you got 6 tablets here, one morning and night. And we'll see here, this is the information that comes with it. And Mebex is like 100 milligrams, is used to treat infestations and intestinal parasitic nematode worms in anyone over 2 years. So roundworm, whipworm. Oh, actually, let's have a go now. Feel free to tune in and see if you react to any of them. And remembering we've generally got all of them in us, it's just a question of which one is the most dominant. And they do interact with each other and cause you to do silly things like, well, crimes are a big one. Yeah, that's the cause of it. The cause comes to when you awaken a third eye, and then the solutions come to the crown. How do I know? I had to go through all the shit to get to that. So, alright, is there roundworm? It's the most dominant. That's mine. Whipworm, pin or threadworm, or hookworm. So they're the major ones. There are thousands of different species. And we also want to check to see, you can take it with or without food, but I tend to take it separately because I like to have it, know the effects of it. This, you know, it's another way to know yourself a little bit more intimately and what's going on, so you can deal with it. And so this one, it says take 100 milligrams once off. It's probably a good way to start, just to get used to it and see what things are. I would also recommend either a colonic or a magnesium oxide flush, or a Schenker, a salt flush, because they're going to react. It's inevitable. Hopefully it's an easier, more subtle reaction, so the more heavy, dense things you've got out of your body, the easier the more subtle aspects will be to deal with. Because, well, imagine if you've got, you're dancing with the devil here. Everything in, like, the Christian understanding and the shadows and things that causes people to do nasty things are parasites, and because people react to that, oh well, tough titties, it's a reality. Then we use demonic or devil stories to gain an understanding, so it's a little bit more softer touch, because people are generally still got their inner child to deal with. And then you can explain these things to children and they kind of get it without having too many reactions. Make sense? So it can be a good idea to do a one dose, or to get used to it, feel it, then move to, you know, have a day off. That's fine. It's perfectly fine to have a day off. You don't have to follow an exact protocol if you're not feeling great. The important part is your body and the condition of it and how you can deal with it. So then you can move, have a day off, move to one morning and evening is an option. And then if you want to do twice daily, morning and evening for 3 nights in a row, 3 days in a row, then take it in steps, gradual steps. So, you know, I'm a fiery pitta person. I've done lots of things that some people would consider extreme, but I've built up to them. And if I've gone too far out of my comfort zone, then sometimes I get mad. But if you've got the tools and to deal with the situation, then it's fine. You know, if you made your decision, you've got to stick by it and suck it up, basically. So I would also, it says, you know, recommended by your doctor, but doctors generally don't understand these things. You go and ask them for a test, and they go, who, what, huh? Oh, hang on, how do I do that? And generally the testing is very limited to a few species. And then they'll say, oh, you know, did you do it when you were on holidays? Oh, the amount of times I've heard people say, oh, I got it when I was on holidays in a far exotic location that supposedly was more natural and doesn't have as much sanitation. But think about it, in the Western world, we have an incredibly toxic environment, 100,000 known toxic chemicals in our environment that we come in contact with every year. And it's a natural environment cleaner than a toxic environment, generally. And, you know, oh, the amount of time someone says, oh, I went on holidays in Africa, or I went and got Delhi belly or Bali belly. Yeah, you got more herbs and spices from an exotic location that had that much health benefits that caused you to evacuate and in a detox reaction. This is a beneficial thing. In the West, we have a lot of problems in associating with taking responsibility for our own choices, and by externally blaming another country or another area, it's not taking responsibility for yourself and the environment that you've chosen to create. This is just low quality, low vibrational. And it's false, complete false. Because these things have been built up over a longer period of time, passed on by parents, affected by our communities, our environment, everything in our food supply system, the works. So the one thing is we can do is take full responsibility for our own body and its condition. Because if we don't take full responsibility, then we're doomed to make those mistakes again. And repeated mistakes, and that's just stupid. And then you go into, you're not good enough stuff, you're going, how smart am I? Well, this is a potential solution. In fact, I might just take one. Just because another weird thing that I've done on camera to spread around. So, there you go. You can see that one. And, oh, also then when you get to the next advanced level, you can crush them up and put them in your animals, in your colonics. and flush it through that way too, because that is generally the location where most of them are. You know, they can move and they shift and change, and they are quite cunning. You really do need the guidance for this one, if you haven't done this sort of thing before, especially. And there's very few people who have the capacity for it. So yeah, if you want, send me a message. We can set up a strategy session. You know, get all the right things to do it comfortably, as comfortable as you can, and set you up with the tools and the nutrients and the coping mechanisms that are required to do this kind of deep level inner work. And I can tell you though, the benefits after removing the denseness and the heavy creatures that are the cause of all disease, essentially. Joy, peace, love, bliss, more ecstasy, a so much better functioning body. Your longevity will be significantly longer, much longer, because you're getting rid of the cause of your problems. And then you become superhuman. Pretty handy. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention as well, like from when I'm sharing and guiding others who are going through these kind of processes, and they become shiny and sparkly and brand new and have extra sensory awareness and psychic abilities come through. Love that. It's the best. So also imagine if, like, you know, if especially the morbidly obese people, they're the one with the most parasites and they're the most evil fuckers. That's basically how it is. They don't know because their thyroid is fucked, and then their solar plexus is screwed. So then there's no connection to their lower self, which has got all these diseases around. And when you've got diseases around your reproductive system and around your colon, your foundation, where your safety and security is, well, you create a culture at times by all the people of insecurity, like everything has to be safe to make you feel comfortable about it. Then you're absolutely totally emotionally manipulated by the system or by people around you because you're a fearful little child. Who wants that? And that sort of thing is generally caused by creatures, and mostly parasites and other kind of creatures that are succubuses. And if you've got all these things in your body, then you're inevitably going to be a succubus or an energy vampire in the people around you. You're not going to be able to provide and share and offer things that, you know, we all like to contribute something, you know, as we're part of something. And that's one of our main drivers for a sense of community, isn't it? Yeah. But if you've got lots of people who are physically incapable of doing a day's work or contributing and being physically active, then they better be able to contribute in some way, otherwise they're just going to be a negative influence. But they don't realise themselves, and they don't think that they are, but that's the result that they have chosen to create. This is not a beneficial situation. It's not in alignment with ourselves. So, and if we can't control our own thoughts, who is? Who's in control of you? Generally creatures influenced by Wi-Fi transmissions, all the different ones that are around, but especially 5G nowadays. So you'll have your whole life completely controlled by the system. This doesn't sound very good to me. Like, I'd much prefer to have individual sovereignty, your control of your own mind, contributing to yourself, your community, and your people around you to improve, to upgrade. Sounds great to me, isn't it? And a lot of the time, the cause of that sort of thing is, imagine you've got, like, well, people who are morbidly obese, and even, you know, fit people, personal trainers and gym goers. Like, until we do this kind of deep level cleanses, we don't know what's there. We just really don't. And so imagine there's one parasite colony that is the dominant one. They're the ones that, and because it's a negative and a positive charge, the negative charge will come up first, and that would be the first thoughts and the first instincts. So the instincts come from the gut instincts. That's why we use the phrase. Then imagine that there's, okay, you've got the one dominant one, and there's causing your own problems, getting your relationships are screwing up, and, you know, you just make mistakes and basically self-sabotaging all the time. But times that by 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe 50 different parasites and fungus species in different environments are in your gut. or below the in the negative section, the shadow, which you're not aware of, then what happens if they have some sort of coherence and some sort of connection between them, and they're all working against each other? Welcome to the dark side of detox. And if they're working in harmony with each other, out of the control of your nervous system, so the brain doesn't self-realize it, then who's really in control? What is really in control? And therefore, like you might have beautiful intentions and heart-driven expectations, but it doesn't turn out that way in your reality, because expectation is just the same. It can be mind control. So can our sense of identity. Who are we? Who are we really? Who is actually in control? What are the thoughts? Where are they coming from? Where are those emotions? Where are the causes of those emotions? And are they actually yours? Do you own them? Have you fixed them? Lots of interesting questions in this one, isn't it? Anyway, that's gone for a little bit longer than I thought, but it's when you get into the subtleties and the deep level understandings, it's so much more fascinating. So, if you want to be alchemized and become superhuman, get psychic abilities, never get sick, send me a message. We can optimize and alchemize. Giddy up!